Hello and welcome to Between Sets. I'm Mike.
And this is Fuzz. How are you?
I don't feel Christmassy enough by comparison.
Because of my background. Do you know how easy it was just to copy and paste a photo behind me? And yet, I spent a whole day putting decks up. What's that about? What is it with women
who want to
screen
your house?
Is it like a woman thing? I don't want to be sexist, but every year she's like, let's just make a big day of it. Of what? Putting the Christmas decks up? What, and then spend a whole day taking them down again?
Yeah, I mean, my wife, she's not overly, we're not overly Christmassy, I wouldn't say. We put decorations up and all that kind of stuff, but I think compared to a lot of other houses where we live, yeah, we don't have any external decorations, to put it that way. I'm not a fan of ladders. That's not happening.
We do have like little reindeers, but that's as far as I go. Because it's just too much effort, and the expense of it. I don't understand why people get like they spend so much money on like blow up snowmen, and it's like, but you're inside, like you're not even seeing this.
You're not. Yeah, you're getting no benefit from that. And the weird thing about Christmas lights, right? Nobody leaves them on during the day, and assuming these people go to work, right? When they come up to their house, it's in darkness, so they then turn on the Christmas lights for the benefit of everyone else. Makes no sense. Like, put more effort into the inside of your house.
Yeah.
Although I will say this, we were over my in-laws yesterday for dinner, and there was a house along their road which I basically stopped outside and was like, it's like Christmas has just shat on that house. It was incredible. Like, there was like 4 Christmas trees inside the house, all lit up different colours. The outside, it was just like, bleh.
It's a lot.
It was insane. Like that tree in the corner behind you, for our YouTube viewers,
a fake tree, by the way.
It's like that, but like just plastered over their entire house. It was crazy.
It's just too much.
Would you say are you a Christmassy person? I mean, the hat
thing
would suggest
is,
no, but
like, I just don't like the fact that every year I just can't control myself. As soon as the Christmas decorations are up, for some reason, my discipline just goes out the window when it comes to food and drink and alcohol. Like, I'm still going to the gym, but for some reason, I'm just like, why not drink a bottle of Baileys a day? Why? What's wrong with that? Merry Christmas.
Well, yeah. Okay. I mean, crack on. Like, we'll deal with that when it comes around to January. It's fine.
Yeah, that's what January's for.
It is the season.
That's what New Year's resolutions are for. Gaining a stone and then losing 100%. It.
I mean, I'm kind of bracing myself for the January New Year, New Me. I mean, from a personal perspective, it's good for business.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it's also a good opportunity for everyone to come up with some opportunities in their head and follow through with some goals that they haven't done for the last 10, 15 years anyway.
100%. I mean, it's quite strange in terms of the fitness community, because you get 2 distinct crowds where you get one where they'll say you shouldn't wait for X date to come around, or like a new year, new me, all this kind of stuff. You should just be able to go on any given day and just do whatever it is that you want to do. Yep, fair enough. But most people can't do that. Most people are not psychologically wired to do that. So you get these days like a birthday, New Year's, whatever. It's like this momentum point, and you, like, psychologically, you can springboard off that. So if you've got a goal, start in the new year. Crack on. You know you're going to be eating rubbish over Christmas. Ideally, don't overdo it, like mainlining Baileys into yourself. But yeah, crack on.
It is a routine thing, isn't it? I find, like, I've always struggled in the past, and that's the reason why I have you as a PT on a Monday morning, is to have that kick back into gear on a Monday morning, slap in the face. Like, I don't rely on it, but it's definitely helped me set a better routine long term, rather than just thinking about, right, like every day try and smash it, and then as soon as you don't, you're kind of thinking, oh, I'm off it now anyway. That's like the biggest weakness with like weekly diet apps, where like you've already got out the window anyway. The whole week then's out the window in your mind anyway. But it's not, obviously, because you're still going to be putting on calories.
Of course it's not. It's the same logic, and I've had this where I've managed people before where they'll be off sick on a Wednesday, for argument's sake. They'll be off sick on the Thursday because they're not still feeling right. But by the Friday, they're feeling better. But they don't come back into work because let's wait until the new week starts.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like psychology is weird. That's just how our brains tick. Basically, we wait for these like
To
little
just make the most
points
of
in
the
time where we
opportunity.
suddenly reset.
It's
Yeah, exactly.
we're interviewing next week. We're interviewing a woman called Georgie, right? And I've been talking to her, and what's funny, so she's undergone some surgery, and she's been told to
Mm.
obviously wait like 6 weeks or something. Like for
Wow.
me,
Okay.
I'd use that as an opportunity. I guess it kind of like doesn't last long, but all I'm thinking about is right. That's 6 weeks of fortnight and not doing the dishwasher. Like it's perfect. Whereas
In my head, when you said opportunity, I thought you were going to go like, it's 6 weeks of me being indoors. I can get on the laptop. I can set up some stuff. And go, businesses go 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 go. No, fortnight.
this is
Okay.
what I'm saying though. It's like it is a humane like thought of right. Am I going to get this opportunity again? Like when I had my back
Hmm.
surgery, for instance. Obviously, I
Hmm.
couldn't do anything apart from just sit down and then stand up for 2 minutes every hour. So I was like, every
Yeah.
time I died on Fortnite, I just stood up for a minute. Like it was like an
Jesus.
egg timer. It's oh yeah, I'm gonna have a bad reputation of being a lazy gamer now. But obviously it's that life balance, isn't it? It's the like you can still game and
Balance because you're in the gym
yeah.
every day. So for those of you who don't know, Fuzz has recently completed this push-up challenge throughout November, hitting how many push-ups a day? 300?
No, it was 100 a day, 3,000 over the month, yeah.
100 a day.
300 a day. Now
100
you're
press-ups
just
a day across.
making 100
Uh,
look look crap now.
but like but you were consistently hitting that every single day and also training alongside that.
Hmm.
So, we have our PT session at 6 a.m. Like we start at 6 a.m. and you'd already knocked out 100 press-ups by that point and then got warmed up and then we go. And
Yeah.
some days I was getting there and he's already on his first exercise. It's if you want something, you'll make time for it and you'll get
Yeah,
it done.
but it's
But
weird that you don't like you do slowly let that self discipline and motivation leak out into other parts of your life. But I don't know what it is.
100%.
Housework is it's never hits housework. It never does. My house is never tidy. Maybe it's when you have a kid. I don't know. But I've reached a point
Probably.
where I invite people over to the house just so I'm motivated to clean it. Otherwise, it just stays a mess.
I like that. Nice. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if do you have like male and female jobs in your house?
Male and female, like blue jobs and pink jobs.
Yeah, blue and pink jobs. Yeah, I think most
I think
households do
most of my
stereotypically.
jobs are just. Thing is, Becca, my wife, she's really good with Ted, with my little one.
Mhm.
So I use that and go right. I will focus on the house. Like she does, like his washing and stuff, and like
Yeah,
buys his clothes and sorts all his stuff out. Which
yeah.
I wouldn't even know where to start. I don't even know where the nappy drawer is. I'm such a good father. But then I'll take care of the whole housework really.
Hmm.
So yeah, blue job's just
Yeah.
everything.
I mean, I've spoken about my love of bin bags several times on this podcast already. We're not that far into it, so I won't go into that again. But otherwise, it's floors for me. That's yeah. I mean, I do floors and I
You
tidy
do the
bins up,
floors.
and if there's any random moving jobs, then that's me, obviously. But
Do
yeah,
you
other than
have to
that,
listen to music as you're doing it? A bit like a gym
uh,
session.
yeah. I mean, if you picture, have you've seen Mrs. Doubtfire, I assume?
I was going for the Queen music video, but carry on. Yeah,
Okay, nice. Yeah, I like that as well. If I just kind of got the tash for it,
yeah.
that could be a bit of a look.
You do look like you want to break
Yeah, no,
free.
yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, no singing. That's a different YouTube channel. You got to sign up for that one.
only
Yeah, I mean,
only fans.
I like music on, but then hoovering is well challenges that a little bit. But yeah, I generally like listening to music. You like it throughout my day. Like I suppose if you're sat at a desk, you've got the opportunity to listen to music, podcasts, whatever else you kind of want to do, provided you can concentrate, obviously. But I don't generally get to listen to much music. So when I get the opportunity, I do tend to.
Yeah, I guess you can't listen to music and PT at the same time. But every year I get my Spotify, what do you call it, replay or whatever come through,
Hmm.
and it averages between 10 and 12 hours a day for the whole year of listening to music.
Wow.
I know.
Okay.
I can't
Nice.
work without listening to music. I can't like do housework without listening to music, or I just
Do
even
you
I'm
find
driving.
your
Obviously, it's a
do you
podcast, so
find
it's
your
slightly
work
different.
efficiency you find your work efficiency goes up when you listen to music?
Oh, 100%. And when I'm working, I
Yeah.
don't listen to the same music, obviously, it's when I'm gymming. When I'm working, I listen to like piano and like acoustic, like a
Yeah,
weird old
nice. Yeah, I
man.
like that. No,
But
well,
lyrics will
it
distract
probably
you.
says a lot. It probably says a lot that I quite like that as well. So if I like that, then yeah, you probably are old man.
I haven't got any
Should we
cats
rename
though.
this podcast? Two old men talk about old men stuff.
Yeah, boring old man stuff. The thing is, it helps though.
Yeah.
Like it, just that acoustic. Like as soon as people start singing, though, I can't focus on the task
Okay.
in hand. It's weird. Like when I'm at the gym, it's different because I'll
Mm.
just sing along as I'm counting or whatever. But I
Oh,
just
that's
can't.
what you're doing.
Yeah, that's me singing. I wonder who that weird bald man was.
So I've had some feedback on the podcast actually, if you're interested.
Yeah,
So another one of my clients likes to listen to us when he's driving about. Drives a lot around the country, and he smashed through our entire catalogue as it currently stands over the course of like 2 days or something silly.
Jesus
Um,
Christ.
Now that can be a good thing because maybe we're somewhat entertaining, which yay.
I
Um,
think he just completed all the podcasts
but
and thought I might
equally,
as well start this.
what if we are actually just overdone background noise in the same way that you listen to your piano and acoustic music and stuff? What if we are just that background noise where people, they're not listening to us, they can then actually just focus on the road?
Fair dues. And mate, if you want to listen, then it
Yeah,
counts as a view. I don't really care how you
we'll
listen.
take it.
Yeah. Do you know what? Just play us in the background with your phone in your pocket. It's fine. Just keep replaying it. But like that's
100%.
what people do at
Yeah.
Christmas to get Christmas number ones. They just stick the same song
Mm.
on loop, even if it's on like it can't be on mute apparently now. It used to be able to, but if you put it on mute, it doesn't count. So the volume has to be up a tiny bit. Just let it loop in your pocket.
So, okay, so this is where the tech side of me really starts to fall behind. So, YouTube counts as individual views. So, if you listen on one IP address, i.e., your phone, that counts as a view. But if you watch that on a TV or a separate laptop, that would count as a separate view, correct?
I don't think so. I think it is a view. It's just like listening to a song. It counts as a song. So if you
Really?
view, yeah, if you watch the video like over and over and over again, because I'm pretty sure YouTube now is
Mm.
included in the top charts, music charts. So it
Right. Okay.
includes those view counts. Yeah.
Wow.
So it could just be maybe it's music
Interesting.
videos only, but I thought maybe
Yeah.
yeah, because that's the reason why Baby Shark has like 100 billion views, is because it's the same people listening over and over and over again for that kid.
Are we wasting our time here? Should we just be dedicating our time to creating the next Baby Shark
I don't know if we'd
and just
get there.
monetize
I
that
won't
video?
lie. Our voices aren't
I
amazing for
mean,
singing. I don't know about yours.
you don't know. I mean,
To be
questionable,
fair, you used to sing actually,
but
didn't you? That's a whole new
I
that's a
did.
whole episode. I think we need to focus on. You used to be in a
that's
choir,
that's
didn't you?
yeah, way back when. There's probably photos knocking about me somewhere in
I don't want photos. I want
the whole.
videos.
I don't think there's videos. To be fair, I was on Songs of
Was you that
Praise
bad? You're like,
twice.
that's just a photo will do.
I don't know, but there are photos of me in the gowns and the whole like rough collar thing.
Oh my god, that
Um,
that is hilarious.
yeah, yeah.
That could be an
I
episode
don't.
cover
I don't step foot in churches these days. They make me itch.
because of like the bullying that happened when you were a kid.
And all the pedos, yeah.
Oh, okay. That'd do it.
I can get political about this. That's not even political. Fuck it. I don't like religions that will actively condone paedophilia amongst their ranks. There you go.
Okay, that's the name of the episode.
Said it.
That's the name of the episode sorted.
Well, we needed a viral hook, but I don't think anyone can complain about that. It's quite a reasonable statement. Cancel me.
I don't think I've ever. I can't remember the last time I was in the church. No, to be fair, I went to a wedding recently, but before then, I don't know. But my grandparents are quite religious. They go every Sunday. I'm not sure if they still do it or not, but I just felt like it's a bit of a waste of time. But at the same time, it's like I completely respect people need that influence and that, that belief system in place to push them.
Yep.
But for me, it's just death in general. Like, we're all going to die. Let's just get on with it. Let that
Yeah,
motivate you.
best to just not think about it, really.
But sorry, yeah. But if
Merry
I,
Christmas, everyone.
but like if I fully believed I was going to heaven after my life now, I don't think I'd be
Mm.
as motivated. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, fair.
Like if I thought life continues, then what's the point in pushing myself and trying to achieve everything that I want to achieve before I die when I'll have a second opportunity?
Well, it's kind of a cop out, really, because you could literally achieve nothing in this life. So long as you're not an evil person, then essentially you go to heaven. That, depending on what religion you subscribe to. But
Subscribed.
then you get everything. Well,
Like it's a
yeah,
YouTube
for lack
channel.
of a better word.
And today we're talking about Jesus.
I mean, when you think about the amount of people that watch the variety of videos on YouTube, like it's not a million miles away
Yeah.
from a
Can you
religion in
imagine
of
God just
itself.
going, press like and subscribe?
I can as it
leave
happens.
leave those comments.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could really go into a big rabbit hole with religion in general, but have you ever watched any of Ricky Gervais's
Yeah, yeah.
Ricky Gervais's any of his stuff
Is.
on religion? Yeah,
I've just watched a
it's
stand up.
very. He had to have a chat with someone on the Richard Dawkins Foundation, I think, where he's being quizzed on his views on religion. Um, and I mean, I won't do it justice, but it's really worth looking into because he breaks it down so well. Um, like the religious person is essentially saying that he's agnostic because he doesn't know if he believes in God or religion because no one can know if there is a God or religion. Well, okay, but by that definition, you can't be agnostic because you don't know if there is any kind of God, so you are therefore an atheist. Like unless you actively believe in a religion, which is fine,
Mm.
then you believe in said religion. But if you're not agnostic because you don't know. You are by definition an atheist because there's no proof.
But
Do you see what I mean?
I do, yeah. I'm not a massive fan of labeling things, especially when it
That's a
comes
rabbit
to
hole. We can
yeah.
really go into this.
I just don't. I just don't really understand it all. Like, but I do respect. I do respect those that have those beliefs, and it's a coping mechanism because everyone needs coping mechanisms. Like, I've got a good friend
Mhm.
who lost a baby before birth, and he lost himself massively, and he saw a psychiatrist who
Mm.
weirdly wouldn't have done it for me because they were very. They always talk about like spirits and like ghosts, and she will say stuff like, "I can feel her in the room with us" and stuff, and I would just slap her. I'd be like, "This ain't doing it for me,
Sorry,
mate." But
a psychiatrist
I think, yeah, I don't know. I'm not, yeah, but yeah, but maybe not a psychiatrist,
or a
but
psychic?
maybe a psychic psychiatrist. Maybe there's a niche in the
I need
market there.
clarification on this because, on one hand, if
Maybe
that's a
we can get them on
psychiatrist
the
saying this, then
podcast. Tell you what, leave
I
that with
mean, if you can
me.
find them,
Leave that with me.
yeah,
But what I'm saying is, like, it's actually helped him. Like, he now has that sort
yep,
of side of him now where he believes there's like he can feel her or him in the room,
mm,
which is really nice because I couldn't imagine going what he went through, let
no,
alone his wife. But at least he's found that, and I fully respect
yep,
it. And if it helps him long term, not short term, but long term, then perfect.
yep, 100%. And I think that is the clarifying point there. If X thing, in this case, religion, does help that person genuinely, then
Yeah,
fair
fully
enough.
respect it. But then if it starts a war,
Yeah, and
there's a different
yeah,
story.
exactly. I mean, yeah, not the one. I think it comes down to like if you're a good person, whether you're religious or not, then I've got time for you, basically. If you're not, then
Yeah,
it's the same thing as like well, you use ISIS as an example, right? So, I mean, it's kind of gone quiet in the news recently with other stuff that's been going on, but when people have been like relatively famous people, like politicians or podcasters as well, have been saying negative things about ISIS, some groups came out and said you can't say that, but you're being anti-Muslim. Like, well, no. It's nothing to do with being anti-Muslim. In fact, if you speak to the majority of Muslims, they would consider the people in ISIS as not Muslims because they're not following the teachings of the Quran and Allah and all this kind of stuff. Not that I have a massive amount of knowledge, just from the people I've spoken to, because the majority of Muslim people you speak to are nice, hardworking individuals who've got a lot of time for you and try to help the community, generally speaking. So it kind of falls under that category where if someone is getting help and is benefiting from this thing, fair enough. However, going back to your earlier point, where this person is a psychiatrist or a psychic, I severely hope not a psychiatrist because they should probably be struck off. But if generally speaking, like psychics, they're frauds. They're fraudsters. They are preying on people. Like people that visit a psychic, they are vulnerable, right?
I completely do. I completely do agree with you, but I have to put myself into this guy's position where it's helping him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you say to him, she's a fraud, then it's like, why say that when he's using this as a coping mechanism? I can't even get my words out. But yeah, like it's tough. It's one of those things. And
so
I completely agree with you.
I think,
just like how I'm saying there's not a God, but if you want to believe in God, then fair dues, fully respect it.
Yep.
So really, I'm not
100%.
saying there's not a God. I'm saying I don't believe in God. So I guess you got to word things correctly.
I suppose I would draw a line between religion and psychics in a way that religions are a community thing, whereas and is going to give some level of benefit, like some level of support, whereas psychics are taking your money to tell you lies.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. But then a lot of people might not, and it'd be interesting to get somebody on who does fully believe in that. It'd be interesting to get somebody on who feels that the Earth's flat as well. But
please do that. I will prove mathematically on this podcast that it is not.
I don't think you need to really prove it. Like, just go onto Google Earth and zoom out. Like, it doesn't take long, does it?
There was the Flat Earthers group on Facebook. It's quite a famous post at this point. It's the Flat Earth movement is picking up movement around the globe.
Around the globe. That's funny.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Irony lost on them there.
I keep seeing the saying in children's books that's really doing my head in. And it says, it basically says, please remember to not forget. So it would be like, please remember, do not forget this. Please remember, do not forget. It's like, hang on a minute. Sorry, let's just start again. that doesn't make any sense. So am I remembering? Or am I not forgetting? It's just the same thing. So,
isn't that a song?
Is it a song?
There's a song called "Don't Forget to Remember."
Don't forget to remember.
It's a Bee Gees song.
Is it? Oh, maybe that's it then. Maybe that's
Almost
it.
Certain.
So that's probably not gonna. I need to listen to that song now. Hopefully it'll.
I think they've probably paraphrased, but
hopefully it'll help me, because every time I see that in the children's book, I'm like, please don't teach my son this, because it just does not work.
What's your views on children's books? I'm interested because this is a world that's quite.
They're all very different, though.
To me.
They're all very different. Julia Donaldson has really good books because they're more visual, and you can learn through them. So it's like numbers and animals and stuff like that. So yeah, but then you got some random books that so many people are jumping on the bandwagon, celebrity wise, writing children's books. And it's a bit much.
Well, David Walliams was the first, really, wasn't he?
Well, his wasn't like proper.
He was the big one.
His was like more like teens, early teens. Sort of.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm talking about like 3-year-old, 4-year-old sort of books.
Well, okay. I mean, the thing is, it must be a huge market for it, really.
Yeah, but there's so much competition as well. It's quite a risk because if you want to invest in getting them printed and stuff, it's quite expensive. I can imagine.
My thoughts on like children's books, and I'm interested to see your thoughts on this because like children develop so rapidly at a young age.
You're telling me.
I'm kind of thinking,
Jesus.
well, if they're, I mean, even from when like we started training,
he's still shitting himself. Though. Fucking hell. When does that stop?
When do you stop?
That is a true story. To be fair.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my point is like, we pitch what we try to teach children at X level because we think they're at this level, right? I know they've got to learn the basics and like numbers and letters and like learn to speak first and how to understand stuff. But is there a way of like accelerating that by exposing them to newer things or like slightly more complicated ideas earlier on? So like there was a study done on babies who had Mozart played to them when they sleep, and they had better cognitive development than the babies who didn't.
Mm.
And that's just music, right? So my question is, I'm sure there are studies on this. I've never looked into it, but
There's studies on
is there
everything
like
now,
a
isn't there?
limiting point? Yeah.
I'll be very interested to see you as a dad, like with all your studies. To be fair, my wife did.
What are they going to turn out like?
My wife did the same thing. To be fair, but when you're in the moment and when you've had that child, it's really hard to stick to a certain thing because one thing that I do now fully believe is it's not 100% parenting that raises the child and creates that sort of personality. I would say it's about 85 though. 85% is your parenting.
Okay.
15% of it,
What's the remainder?
because you could. I know I haven't got two children, but I know a lot of people that do. That are raised by exactly the same parents, and those children turn out completely different. So their personality does get impacted by so many things in life. I don't know whether it's something that happens before they're born or whatever, but it's definitely in their head. Like everyone's brain is so unique. I was listening to a podcast the other day actually about brains. It's on. Do you listen to Diary of a CEO? It's a really good podcast, quite a long one.
I think you've recommended that one before. I don't listen to it, to be
So
fair,
he
but
gets experts
yeah, I
on,
should probably
like
start.
world class experts on different subject matters. And he had one about brains because I was interested because they were talking about ADHD, which is something that I have. And it was quite interesting to see how brains are so impacted, and it's quite genetic as well, but also impacted by like anything and everything that you take, anything you drink and eat, and even if there's like mold in the house, it can like cause serious long term damage to your brain, which is something that you just don't really think about, really. Even the air, anything in the air, like if you're living in a quite high congested zone or whatever in London, it's quite intense, really, how it impacts your brain. But all
I mean, I believe
that
that. I
impacts
mean,
your personality and impacts your attitude towards things and stuff.
I mean, when you think about like all of our thought processes are essentially just a load of neurons firing. Essentially, we're just a big bundle of electrical signals firing all at one time. The efficiency and how well our brain maps those connections, it's chemicals essentially. Like we are a big old bunch of chemicals. So like in your synapse, you've got stuff like acetylcholine, like which transmits that neurotransmitter from one neuron to another, blah blah blah. But like that can be governed, so you can improve the rate of new connections developing in your brain by increasing the amount of omegas in your diet. So typically speaking, this can affect your like the longevity and like risk of dementia and Alzheimer's, especially as well. So this is why the Mediterranean diet is looked into so intensely, because it's relatively low in carbohydrates until you get in towards like central Italy, where there's a lot of pastas and doughs and stuff. But it's mostly vegetables, a lot of fish, a lot of seafood, high in tomatoes, that kind of diet, and it's meant to be incredibly good for you. Now, the interesting thing is, people who live on that diet exclusively along that Mediterranean coast, where these foods are abundant, have lower, well, they have a much higher life expectancy. Number one, they have far lower rates of dementia and Alzheimer's. Again, it could come down to pollution levels because they're far less populated these
This is
areas,
it.
or used to be. They're now obviously becoming much more popular with people traveling and settling in different areas. But that is one diet that's been studied immensely, and it's shown to have enormous health benefits essentially. So yeah, I think there's a lot to that.
I do completely agree, and it's one thing that does scare me a bit, like the fact that if you really fully stick to a diet that benefits both your life expectancy and your day to day actions, then yeah, you would live for a lot, probably 10, 15 years than you would if you were just living your life normally. But then
Well,
it's like,
I
do
think
you want to enjoy your life a little bit Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think balance is important as well, obviously, because who wants to live to 120 if you've just had quite a boring life? Balance.
This is it.
Um, but I mean, it was first investigated when you know that area of the world, like southern France and southern Italy, um, they had a huge percentage of people living well into their hundreds. Um, and with medical advances now, in theory, if people were to maintain that lifestyle, they could be living towards 130, 140,
Oh yeah,
which
we've
is
doubled our life expectancy
it's
over the
crazy
last
to
few
think
hundred
about.
years, really, haven't we?
Yeah, massively. But that would put your middle age, when you are middle age, you would be 70, which is phenomenal to think about.
It is. I'm not sure if like the mobility would
Hmm.
improve massively, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, your quality of life would definitely reduce in the
Yeah,
second
because
half of your life,
your
for
bones
sure.
aren't going to keep up with it, like this at the same level.
Mm. That, I would say there are things you can do. So bones weakening is essentially like osteoporosis, which can be combated to an extent. Like not everyone gets osteoporosis. Like so, for example, keeping active, just walking uphill will maintain the bone
Mm.
density in your legs. For example, it relatively low impact but repetitive essentially, and this is the benefit of weight training as well. So load bearing exercises, provided they're done correctly without injury, can lead to increased bone density, increased muscle mass, and therefore it staves off the osteoporosis effect essentially. So the first sign of aging medically is weakening. So you start to lose strength. So by weight training, you're actually anti-aging yourself essentially. You're maintaining your strength and building strength, so you have more to lose as you go into later life. There's a lady on Instagram, and I can't remember her exact Instagram name, but I think it's Train with Joan. I think, and she is in her mid 80s. She took up weightlifting in her early 80s, and
Wow.
her like how she looks has completely changed. Her fitness has gone through the roof. Her lifestyle has completely changed. Her mobility's improved. So I don't know. I don't know what can be done. Because there's hip replacements, there's knee replacements. Everything seems to be being able to be swapped out. Have you seen the film Bicentennial Man?
Nope.
That's an interesting watch. That's Robin Williams. He
Oh,
he's
I think I
essentially
might have
a
done. You don't? Is it the robot
yeah,
one?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
So he
yeah.
starts out as a robot and then changes his life to become human. It's a very good film.
When she sees him for the first time being human, that's the bit I remember the
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, with the scream.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I do like that film.
Robin Williams has been in some
How's your
amazing
business?
films. What were you saying?
Oh,
Sorry.
100%. He's one of these. I was saying, how's your business going?
My side business.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm trying to put a pin in it, just so I can focus on the personal training stuff. I'm really struggling
Hmm.
to be motivated to study when there's opportunities to make money. So I'm just trying to
Yep.
put a pin in it, but it's really hard to. But I will do, I think, for the new year, just for a month. I don't
Yep.
know. But yeah, I'm getting some really good feedback, really good inquiries and stuff. Obviously, it's that time of the year where people are
I
like,
mean,
I'll start with you in January. So,
yeah.
oh,
So
sorry.
you should as well, because the content that you do put out and produce. Again, when we were talking before, like I knew you were into tech, I knew you were into video editing, but you didn't really give over exactly how good you were, which is an interesting thing. Like when
I'm
someone
very
says, "Oh
humble
yeah,"
though. I wouldn't say, oh, I'm the best in the world at something, unless it's Fortnite. But
no,
yeah,
but
carry on. I'm
like
joking.
like the video you put together for mine and Zara's bootcamp, for example, it's quality. Like I showed
To be
that
honest,
to
yeah, I didn't even spend much time on it. I just couldn't. I was really struggling to juggle. And because
no,
that video that
but
I made for you, I did the same evening,
mm,
didn't I? I made that on my phone.
yeah, that's crazy. It's because I couldn't do that. If you gave me all the videos and images that you took,
Yeah.
I would not be able to do that. But that comes down to there was a little video I watched before where this fellow works for Nike as a graphic designer,
Mm.
and this guy's questioning him about like what he's getting for what he's paying for and what his hourly rate is and all this kind of stuff. It's like, um, oh, but that logo only took you 30 minutes to put together. Like, yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Because I've got 20 years of experience putting these kind of logos together, and you don't. That's why you're paying me the money. And it's the same thing. If I had all the equipment that you had and all the opportunity to take all the same videos and pictures, I wouldn't have got anywhere close to that level of editing and putting together. It didn't even take you very long. That's because you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. That pay thing, that it is quite it's quite a thing to get over, especially when you starting up your own business, because you want to be charging fairly, even though you've got loads of experience. You haven't got any experience. You haven't got much. Like, your business doesn't have much experience. It hasn't got any feedback or
Yeah.
comments or anything like that, and you're just building it up. So it's
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing what I can with that. But yeah, like, it's definitely driven by passion. It's a bit like you. You can tell you're so passionate about the human body in general, really. Like, you know a lot
Yeah.
about it, and you study it every day without even thinking, almost. And it's very similar to me with tech. I think it's very much like camera tech. But I've always been obsessed with cameras ever since I was like 5, I'd say.
One thing I'd like to see in terms of crossover once you are done with your PT, and I'm very intrigued because you know quite a lot about tech. I'm interested to see how you incorporate that into your business in terms of like your like soul training as a personal trainer. I'm really interested to see what you incorporate and how you do it.
Yeah, because obviously, because
Because
I'll be
I'm
biased. It's because it's my own business. I will spend so much more time on it, and I won't post anything unless it's perfect, which is not a good thing, because for your mental health, it is a lot of pressure. Yeah,
I think as long as you schedule things correctly, then I think you'll be okay with it. Um, but it's interesting because a lot of people come at PT with a view to getting big on social media because they don't necessarily want to carry on. This is the general vibe that I get from personal training at the moment is people don't really value in-person personal training anymore because
you can make
they're
so much
committing
more
an hour of
money.
their time. Exactly, they commit that same time to coaching 5 people in that same hour. They make more money. Fair enough if that's your goal to make money. That I get that. Like, I'm not going to discredit that. Um, but I mean, so they are coming at personal training and utilizing social media with a view to growing their social media and therefore taking on more clients. I think you would take a slightly different approach to it, and I'm interested to see where that leads. Um, yeah, I think it'll be a cool little thing to observe develop over
Yeah,
time.
no, I appreciate that. It is something that I'm looking forward to doing. I'm still getting over the fact of like either leaving my job or losing some hours. I think losing some hours would definitely
Hmm.
be the first thing, because of just
Yeah.
for my anxiety. But you know, after I've recently done another video, haven't I? And I've had so much good feedback on that. And that is not, again, that's not even the final
Hmm.
product, because I sent that to the client, and he not pushed back. He just said, like, are you able to make it so it follows my latest social media theme? And I was just like,
Hmm.
actually, no, he didn't even say that. He said, I need to send this to my social media team to edit. And I'm like,
Hmm.
why? Like, just let me know what you need and I'll do it. And then I did it. Literally, I sent it to him within
Yeah.
24 hours, and he was just really impressed with it. And I think it's going again, like what you said earlier. It's like almost underestimating my capabilities, but I need to get better at
Hmm.
being clear with what I can and can't do. So we're all learning.
Yes.
No matter how long or not how old your business is anyway, you're always going to be learning from your clients and what they're after. Like,
Hmm.
after that conversation, all I was thinking about, right, what do I need to do going forward? Maybe create a form for people to tick, what colors do you want? What sort of theme do you need? Blah, 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 blah.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's all. I'm
That's a
always
normal
thinking about that.
progression as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very normal progression as well. Because even when I started my business, I did things very differently to the version that you're currently seeing. So I used different apps. I had people doing paying per session individually. I had people doing the block bookings for PT sessions. For me personally, that business model does not work. Like, fair play to people that make that work, but you're always scrabbling to get people booked on. Psychology doesn't work because they have to be saving money up, all this kind of stuff. Whereas a set monthly thing is very tangible. You know exactly what you get for that,
Yeah. Again, that's quite a
and
niche, though, isn't
you know,
it? Even though that's
mm,
probably something that I'd adopt, but it is quite a
mhm,
niche for people to want to sign up for more monthly outgoings that are obviously like confirmed outgoings rather than being able to afford it as and when, a bit like a massage. Like for me,
Hmm.
even though I do have the money, I'm only booking massages in when I feel like I've got more than enough money because I'm not prioritizing it.
Yep.
And again, yeah, it's also what people want to prioritize.
Yep. It exactly come down to that. And it's a similar, I kind of want to do a similar thing with the sports massage side of things where people are on a program where they get regular maintenance sessions because prevention is better than cure. So, for
It's
example,
selling
if
that though,
you
isn't it?
tear or damage something, yeah,
And
it's one of
a
these things.
video is
It's
perfectly like I do feel like videos are the perfect way to sell things nowadays. Like it's definitely
hmm
a really good opportunity for me. All these years of like making videos. Like I remember,
mm,
I think I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the podcast before, but I've definitely mentioned it to you before. That I used to game a lot. I used to be a proper gamer. We're talking like
yep.
World of Warcraft, Counter Strike, sort of. Yeah,
Oh, you never mentioned World of
I
Warcraft.
know.
Oh,
And I'd be up all
territory there.
night playing video games, and then I'd spend
Yeah.
more time after that creating videos from them. So I'd create like highlights of
Okay.
like certain things, which I used to just love
Yeah, yeah.
doing, and I still do. And I
Yeah.
can't believe now, like what 20+ years later, that I'm now trying to create a career out of it,
Yeah.
which is
But
amazing.
that's
I think
exactly
it's
it.
just
That you
yeah, it's just me trying to follow my dream, really. But I think it's just me having a midlife
yeah,
crisis
100%.
personally. But we'll see.
But, like credit where it's due. Like if that's something that you enjoy, it doesn't really make a difference how you get there in a weird sort of way. So I've done a lot of different jobs, but the one consistent thing for me was since I started training in the gym, I've never stopped training in the gym
Mm,
aside from when COVID shut everything down. Um, and that's always been a consistent across multiple jobs, across multiple things. I've trained multiple people even before I was a PT, just like in general, training with them, moving towards their goals, all this kind of stuff. And then I don't know, you kind of get that penny drop moment. It's like, oh, hang on, I could actually do this as my job. So now, like when I'm in the gym for 8, 9 hours a day, it doesn't feel like work. Like I'm just there. It's good.
this is it. But I had like a 2 hour conversation with one of my colleagues the other day about carers. Now, fully
Hmm.
respect carers because not only are they caring and doing some dirty shit sometimes, they're on minimum
Hmm.
wage. They're keeping everyone happy. Like when you go, I'm not sure if you've had an experience. I've not, but she was telling me about
Hmm.
her visiting her great grandmother, and these carers like they make her day. Every single day they go in,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
make
yeah.
her day because they're just amazing. And it's just like
Mm.
that really requires like so much passion for that career
Mm.
because it's not like they're going home and feeling rewarded financially. They're just feeling rewarded emotionally, which is
Just by
crazy.
doing what they're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%. Um, I mean, some there is niche passion out there for everything. I promise
yeah.
you that. So, as an example, so we were away over the past weekend, and it was bloody freezing basically. So we were walking out like we need to get a drink because I'm they're about to drop off basically. So we went into this little coffee shop, and it was a board game cafe basically. And I wasn't really sure what I was expecting, but this thing was it was like 3 levels, like there was 3 stories to it, and it was just games upon games upon games, right? And we weren't playing games; we were just there to get drinks. So we got our drinks and sat down, and some family started coming in, sitting down, and they were asking the waiters who worked there, who also like I guess, board game specialists about what games I should play. They told them some ideas of what games they played before and what they liked. And this guy just went over to this huge wall of games and just started pulling out random things. Opened this one board, and he wasn't like reading the instructions or whatever else. He knew the instructions on how every single one of these games was to be played, and it's like a sommelier for like wine or something.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
niche. Somebody somewhere loves games that
It's
much
amazing how the
and
brain
thought, I want to run a
works, isn't it?
cafe. Yeah, and he's just gone, right, there you go for it. And it works.
Yeah.
It works.
Again, but that goes back to
So,
our conversation before. Is that something you're born with? Is it something that you kind of like? Is it because of the way that you were raised?
mm,
It's weird, isn't it? Like I don't like no one in my family, no one in my family has or is obsessed with tech. I've not
mm,
like genetically had I adopted that. I've not. My childhood,
no,
I had a very lucky childhood. My parents like spoiled me rotten, but they didn't. I don't remember them ever triggering, right, you need to have the latest tech or the latest things.
Mm.
I remember my dad walking in on me once. I can't even remember how old I was. I could have just been 9. And I was taking a TV
Mm.
apart. Like I was unscrewing the back and I'm like, I don't know when, I don't know, you know what I mean? I think I've just always been so tech curious is the word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then it just slowly adopted into like cameras and stuff. Like I have so many cameras, and this is before I even started my business.
I know you do. I've
I have
seen half of them.
so many cameras. Like I'm not sure if you've been watching I'm
It's
a
madness.
Celebrity, but there's a woman on there called Josie who collects calculators. I find that so weird. But then I thought to myself, hang on a minute,
Right,
I'm
okay.
collecting cameras. Like I've not ever sold a camera. I just keep them.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I've got 6
Yeah.
GoPros. Who needs 6 GoPro? A GoPro for each limb.
6.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Jesus, dude.
I don't know why. I just have 6 GoPros. Who does?
I might have another idea on that. I'll speak to you after this. I might have an idea, but
What?
especially where you like video editing.
Like camera on
Yeah,
each
I'll pick
limb?
your brain later.
Okay.
Well, no, not exactly, but it's a similar thing for me. Like when I was younger, I remember going through school. Like I was okay at athletics. Like I can run, I can jump, all this kind of stuff. That's fine. If you give me any kind of like ball sport, like football, I was okay with rugby because again, I can run. But general sports that you play in school, I was not interested. Was not. I did not care in any way. And yet, I think if my gym had had a weight room,
Yeah.
then
Which
that
they
might have
do
been a little bit
nowadays.
different. Yeah, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. I
Yeah.
can't imagine we've got any people who are currently in school listening to this. But honestly, if you don't like sports, just try going into the weight room because speaking from experience, like that's my thing.
Exactly.
And
It's really
I had no
important.
opportunity to find that in school.
It's really
Hmm.
important at school because
Try as
at
many
my
different things as you can.
school, like, I know probably but I doubt very much we're going to have students listening to this. But even
Yeah.
though I was very into sports at school, I hate now that I don't have the same time. Like at school, you'd
Mm.
play. Like I was a proper into basketball because I grew up at
Hmm.
such a young age. I was 6 foot when I was 11, so I had the advantage over everyone. I had my growth spurt really early,
I hate you so much.
and so I got into basketball straight away. And but now, as soon as you leave school, you realize that you don't have time anymore. I say time, you just don't prioritize anymore because
Hmm.
life gets in the way. Like I used to get into school early,
Yep.
play an hour of basketball, then play an hour of basketball at lunch, then spend 3 or 4 hours after school playing basketball. And
Yep.
now I
Yeah, there's
can't.
no
I
way in
tried
hell
playing
you can do that
basketball.
now.
What 4 years ago? I ruptured my Achilles, like the first
Yep.
the first training. Oh,
Yeah.
mate.
It's one of these things. So like your efforts as an adult essentially go into making sure that you, well, at least from a gym goer's perspective, you go into the gym for an hour, hour and a half a day to make sure you don't look terrible.
Mm.
Essentially, that's what it comes down to. Some people have very specific goals in terms of like getting stronger and all this kind of stuff, but nuts and bolts of it, we want to look
That
reasonable.
is
But
it.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
That's
but then
that's the majority of the
yeah,
reason people are in there.
but people also want to live a bit longer. That's another thing, isn't it? It's just trying to stay fit. Like for me now, I just
But
want
yeah,
to be able
I
to
think
lift my body weight more than like what those I was googling this the other day. What are those pull ups called where you lift your whole body up like that?
muscle ups.
Muscle ups. That's the one.
Yeah.
Next year, I need to be able to do a muscle up. That's my goal. You can write that down if you want.
I mean, okay, I'll need to look into how to do that myself then because it's really weird. I've never tried to get the technique down, so I'm gonna have to get that nailed myself first, and
Oh,
then show
okay.
you how to do it. Basically,
I've just given you a job for next
um,
year.
I mean, it's not the most valuable exercise in the world, in my opinion.
It's
CrossFitters out
not,
there, I
but
can if you listen carefully, a CrossFitter somewhere is crying, but um, yeah,
when I was a kid, I used to be able to do
either
that.
do a pull
It's
up.
just getting that. It's just losing enough weight to do it. I think for me,
Honestly, if you can do like 10 decent pull ups, you can do a muscle up.
but I can
Just
do 10
in
decent
like,
pull-ups.
'cause
There's no
yeah,
way I'm
you
doing
can
a
do a
muscle
muscle
up.
up. And it's essentially that the initial pull needs to be explosive enough, and you need to be mobile enough through your shoulders to get your elbows above the bar, essentially. But it changes how you pull as well because you're not pulling to your chest; you're trying to pull towards the top of your abs. Again, I looked into this briefly, but I've never actually
Okay.
dedicate much time to getting better at it. So
Maybe
leave it with me.
we should
We'll see what we can do.
update the listeners like each month next year with how we're getting on with it. Just watch me
So
struggle
we're doing
like a cat on a on a curtain.
Well, maybe we'll do that. We'll do a weekly update on a Monday and see how you progress across the year.
It's going to be terrible.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
You'll definitely see my
I might
sex
start.
face, that's for sure.
I'll start in week 1 and of the new year, and we'll see how long it takes to get there.
I'm
It'll be
looking forward to
interesting.
that. I need to add that to my
Yeah, for
New
sure.
Year's resolutions now.
Just do muscle up.
Anyway,
It's very specific as well.
yeah, it's not. I just want to be able to do it like just once. It's like next year I want to get a 6-pack just for a day, because I know it's not really the most sustainable thing for your body to go through, but just for a day, because I've not had a 6-pack since I was like 16, and I just want to feel 16 again, Mike. I just want to be young.
I mean,
It's my birthday on
yeah,
Monday, and I've
fine.
never felt older. Like, I think after you turn 30, you just don't look forward to your birthdays anymore. Every year now,
No, I couldn't give a shit.
it just sound in my head. It just sounds so old.
You're 33.
32. Don't you
Am I
dare
not
make me
correct?
older, you fucking prick.
Well,
32 on
you're
Monday.
saying you're a little bit younger than me. So yeah.
What makes
Okay.
it hard is that I'm pretty sure I remember when my dad was 32, and now, like in my head, I'm thinking, oh my god, if I can remember when my dad was 32, I am old.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Again,
feel right.
this will be a little bit sexist. So, but I think we've got an advantage as guys because we kind of end up getting better as we get older. Like if I go back to when I was 18, I wasn't really a functioning man,
You're still
for lack
not,
of a
Mike.
better word. Like no, it's barely
Barely a
passable.
man.
This is just it's disguise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's one of these things. Like I don't know. I think in men, like competency is valued quite a lot in men. So even though we end up looking wrinkly and old, like our competency increases, and therefore we end up
We don't have to
getting
carry
better as we
babies,
get
do
older.
we are extremely lucky
No.
as a gender. We are very lucky, and that's the reason why I stay very humble about that with the whole housework side of it. Because I'm like,
Hmm.
if you're like, you know what I mean? Like, I would rather clean inside of the house every day than spit a baby out my dick. That's my life motto. That, Mike. I'm not
That
sure.
that's a sentence. That is.
I just don't know how women do it. I honestly don't. And then obviously once you've had a baby, not like everyone just goes, "When's the next one coming?" And I'm like, "We barely made it through the first one."
Why?
Like it's such a
Yeah.
horrible thing. It really is.
Like, at what
Obviously,
point are you allowed to turn around and say like, "Why do you hate me sleeping? Like, what have you got
it's
against my
not
sleep
that. It's
exactly?"
not even the sleep. It's the whole. It's just the giving birth thing is very scarring on anyone. I don't know why God made it that difficult and just weird. Like why? Why?
Would you? So, all right, I'll give you two
I don't
choices
know why I
now.
said
So,
God. I don't even believe in
things as
God.
they things as they currently are in terms of childbirth and all that kind of stuff, or comparison. Have you ever seen a horse giving birth or a cow?
Well, it's similar, isn't it?
No, no, no,
They make
no.
it look easy
It's
on
sort of much.
on Clarkson's farm. They made it look very easy. Maybe it was edited well.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I've seen clips that normally come up on like
Is that
Gogglebox or
what you're
something
into?
crazy
Is
where
it,
it's
Mike?
like the slightest of pushes and it's something like boom, done.
Mm.
And you're like, oh my god, that was violent. But then, like in like 5 minutes, this little baby horse foal, yeah, foal is up and just like running about the place. You think, geez,
Isn't
like
that a chicken curry?
foal. That's a foal.
Yeah.
Phaal.
We're not eating horse,
Foal.
are we?
Foal and foal. Yeah. Have
But
you had a foal?
I'm pretty sure I've tried one, and it's hot.
Yeah, I got given a teaspoon of it when I was quite drunk in a curry house at one point because we were all adamant we were ordering this curry. Had a little teaspoon of it, and it scalded my tongue
Yeah,
like it was horrendous. And that
it
was when I'm
tastes
drunk. Like it
not
was
too
really
bad
bad.
though. Like the chili sauces nowadays, the
Does
ones
it?
that are really really hot, just taste like absolute shit. Like, have you ever tried the
Just
bomb? Do
acid.
you watch the hot ones on YouTube?
I've seen it. Yeah,
So the bomb,
yeah.
I've got the
I've never
bomb.
tried it though.
If you ever come round,
You like hot sauce though, don't
oh
you?
mate. So yeah, on that topic, I've got this food challenge tomorrow actually, but yeah,
Go on.
I love hot sauce. I think I probably
Mhm.
have hot sauce every single day. My ass doesn't
Really?
like it, but I'm a big fan.
No fair.
I do like a good shit. Um,
What's this eating challenge you got
yeah,
tomorrow? You've
so
kept that quiet.
yeah, sorry. So I'm not really doing anything for my birthday, and Becca's just really, my
Mm.
wife's really good at just knowing what's going on in the area. She's like, I don't understand where she gets it from.
Right.
I'm assuming it's social media, but she's really good. Like if I wasn't with my wife, I would literally just stay home. There wouldn't be anything planned. We wouldn't have any holidays booked because I just can't be asked to book stuff. Like it'll be very
I
last
mean, that
minute
actually
stuff
sounds quite
anyway.
peaceful and relaxing, but
Yeah, but she's really good
yeah.
at getting
Moving
me
on.
out of the house, basically. Anyway, she found this
Yeah, yeah.
eating challenge. I think it's in Raynham, or that way anyway. I need to find.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, because we should give them a shout out, and then I'll update next week with how I get on. Fen Bell is the pub.
Oh yeah,
Fen
okay.
Bell Inn, yeah,
That's got a petting zoo, I
yeah.
think.
We said we were going to go there anyway for Ted, for my son, and
Mm.
then yeah, it turns out they got an eating challenge of 60 chicken wings in 19 minutes. It used to be 20 minutes, but then somebody beat it, so they lower a minute off. But the person that beat
60
it,
in 19 minutes.
yeah, but the person that beat it did it in less than 12 minutes. So I'm like, well,
Jesus.
yeah. But then every weekend they've posted photos of people failing, like failing badly. So I'm taking it half
That's like,
serious. I did a bit of research on how,
yeah.
how to prepare for an eating challenge, and I'm following it by the
Chicken
book.
wing is crack, pull apart, blum. But the guy who's doing it in less than 12 minutes, have you ever seen like a wood chipper? It must
Yeah.
honestly be like that. Like chicken wing
Oh
goes
yeah,
in, bones come out.
that
Like,
wouldn't have been a nice
that's
view.
insane. No. Although some of these eating, like professional, it's a strange sentence actually, professional eaters. Like, they're just insane.
You have to average 3.5 a minute, which in your head isn't like it's so possible.
It is, but that's quite a large volume of food as well. Like when you see 60 wings stacked up in front of you, I think that's quite a
When I
lot.
go out, and if they sell wings, I'll always buy 2 meals of wings, which is normally around 40 wings anyway. Like I love wings.
Is it?
I love wings. Yeah, I'm obsessed with wings.
I don't think I've ever gone out and ordered wings.
So this is why this podcast
Genuinely.
works, because we're so different.
So very
What do you
different, yeah,
order?
yeah. What, in like a chicken place?
No, just like let's just say you were going to let's just say Weatherspoons because they do everything. What would you order at Weatherspoons?
Oh Jesus, dude! I haven't been in Weatherspoons in
Yes,
maybe a decade at this
Again, we're
point.
so different.
What about Nando's? Would you get?
Well,
you
got no
wings at
option, have you?
Nando's?
You just get chicken. What I'm trying to say is like,
Yeah, but okay.
like what?
But I would go for chicken thighs, for example. From
Oh,
Nando's.
okay. Oh, so
Still a
Nando's,
fatty cut of meat,
I'll have
so you
like
get
the
nice-
extra hot chicken wrap.
Okay, interesting. See, I go that's medium.
I can't anymore, can I? Because it's got gluten in it. So I probably would just end up getting the wings.
Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, forget about your glutinous.
I'm a gluten douche, yes.
Glutinous.
Yeah, well, I don't
Okay.
know if we'll try and get an episode out next week, won't we? We got an interview
Mm-hmm.
with Georgie Lou. Is that
Yeah.
her last name? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah. So
I actually know. Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, but I'll update you next week on that. So I did a bit of research basically, and it is apparently it's about 24 to 22 hours before your challenge. You need to eat as much as you can in one sitting, which is what I've already done. And then what that does apparently is it expands your stomach. You're the expert.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling you what I've read, really. So it expands your stomach. And then after that, drink as much water as
You
you can.
fat bastard, mate.
No, what I'm saying is it's about the human body. You probably looked into it anyway. So yeah, it's meant to expand the
you're
stomach.
good so far.
Drink loads of water. And apparently, like in some occasions, that you might eat too much. Like I think I did eat too much, and then it might impact my sleep. You got to try and not let it impact your sleep, and then don't wake up early because you want to sleep as long as possible. Because the following day, you don't really want to eat anything, and if you need to eat protein shakes until you want to try and keep because apparently your stomach is still expanded, but you've been able to digest everything that you've eaten. so you'll have loads of
Right. Okay.
space for the chicken wings. So that's what I'm
Okay.
doing. I don't know whether it will work.
Yeah.
I will update you. But in my head, anyway, like mentally, I think 60 chicken wings in 90 minutes is so doable. But obviously, I can't just say that. That mental might help. I don't know.
In my head, if that was put in front of me, I think I could average 3.5 for probably about 7 or 8 minutes,
So you're a
and then
realist, aren't you?
that
Whereas I'm
pace gets
very positive.
difficult. Yeah. No, again, I think you can eat 60 wings because you're stubborn enough that you would eat 60 wings, and I would as well. It's the
Have I
time
got that
factor.
reputation for you? I'm just really stubborn.
Yes.
Like when you say to me, when you give me
I'll
workouts,
rephrase. Determined.
yeah, could you give me workouts with the intention that I will fail? And I'm there like, I will not fail. Do it now. Ah!
I mean, secretly in my head, I'm actually just like, okay, well, he's just getting silly strong at this point, and I'm here for it.
Yeah,
It
but
is
I
what it is.
think I will.
If I was
I
went
will
through a stage
injure
at one point,
myself before I fail. Do you know what I mean? So you got to
I mean,
take that into
yeah,
consideration. That's
yeah,
on you now. If I hurt myself, that's your
yeah, fine.
fault.
I like that though, in a weird sort of way, but because I'm quite similar, to be honest with you. But you went through a phase initially. Do you remember when we were going through like kind of getting you into the gym, like getting you used to the exercise, all this kind of stuff? We were going through generic sets of 8 to 10 or whatever else. If I said 10, you'd hit 11 every single time. If I
Mm.
said 12, 13, just to push that a little bit more.
Yeah, it was just that one extra. That's like my life motto, really. It's just that one extra. That's why
Yeah,
I've got that tattoo on my arm. And I'll always live by that. It's
yeah.
like putting that extra bit in. And that's the reason why I get injured so much, though, to be fair.
Yeah, I can't really talk. I got injured on Monday. I've done something to my trap. It feels weird. Relatively
At
heavy
the
shoulder
gym.
press, and something just
Yeah.
went clunk. Yeah, it's what it is. Not felt right since, but here we are.
That's why,
We're not made of
you can
glass.
do
We
is
carry on.
rest, isn't it, I guess?
Yeah, won't be doing that.
I went to, talking about food, I went
Hmm.
to Ashford Design Outlet today.
Oh
I
yeah.
had my first Five Guys forever. Probably since they became popular like 10 years ago, whatever. And
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Like, sorry, I've received feedback that I swear too much in this podcast, but the fucking price of Five Guys is
Oh yeah.
fucking ridiculous. All I ordered was a burger and a chips and a drink. That's all I
Hmm.
ordered. Like, yes, the prices are on the thing.
So before you say how much that is, I can. So it was just a standard, like a single burger, or was it a double?
I got I don't know, I just got a bacon cheeseburger, some
Bacon
chips,
cheeseburger. Okay.
a large
So
chips.
with chips, what's
Are
a
you? I'm
small, a
assuming
large chips?
you go a
Okay.
lot, do
Well,
you?
no, I'm just trying to piece it together because I know roughly. But a
Well,
large chips, that's a mistake because
why?
a medium or a small chips is normally enough for like two people, like
Go
quite
big
happily.
or go home.
Okay. Plus the drink, I reckon you are looking at your meal solo being around 17, 18 pounds.
£22 it was.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
and I was like, because in my head I'm thinking like Ted's just had a snack. I will just order for me and give him some chips. But you were right. The large chips, they basically give you a black bag full of chips, and I'm like,
It's a bag of chips. Yeah, it's
why have I got
insane.
this? So yeah,
Yeah, no, it's
so my son had half of them.
so I actually have a story about Five Guys myself, actually. And I don't know if this
Restaurant,
was
yeah. Wait,
again
carry on.
with, without the potentially slandering them, it could potentially have been food poisoning. I will say that.
Oh,
We were at a conference in London doing some training, and it was a particularly hot day. This is like when there were rail strikes on, so we couldn't get the tube or anything else. I don't know if it was a migraine. I don't know if it was food poisoning. I maintain food poisoning, but we got a taxi back from the very centre of London, really hot. The taxi driver was particularly smelly, and I was violently ill. Like repeated, I did not know this volume of liquid could actually be stored in my body. It was unbelievable. Like going through central London, I was basically ripping the side of the taxi open, just in stop start traffic, endlessly being
oh
sick for
my
about an hour
god!
and a half.
How long
It was
after the meal
insane.
was this?
Um, Probably about 2 hours afterwards.
So could it have
But
been that? I
there
guess it could have
there
been
was
that.
there was no controlling it. It was ridiculous. I've never experienced anything like it. It's crazy.
So you've not had it since. You've not had Five Guys since.
No,
Not
touched it.
not the
Not
vomit.
touched it. And realistically, it's just a burger. And in theory,
The thing is, it is just a burger. When it came out, after spending £22 on it, I was expecting Burger King. Their burgers are quite wide and like juicy. It came out and it was like shrink wrapped in some foil, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I ordered a £22 meal in my head. I'm like, I'm expecting a £22. Like, I could have got 3 kebabs for that. That's what I always compare things to, by the way. Like if we're buying a bed, I'm like, that's 50 kebabs. that's my currency in my head.
I like that. Nice. That could be your like hourly rate for like PT. Like this will buy me this many kebabs.
Yeah. No, that's how I'm going to advertise it.
It's
2 kebabs an hour. That's how I charge.
It's so bizarre because like I've eaten burgers since that event, right? So it's not the idea of a burger. But you just mentioning Five Guys there makes me feel weird.
Oh,
how's that for negative branding? But yeah, not good. Really not good.
It does sound like a gangbang, though, doesn't it? Five Guys. And that's probably what it is.
Five Guys, yeah.
It's probably the image that's going through your head. You're like, oh god, I'm all right, thanks.
Yeah, honestly, that was horrendous. I'll compare that to Deli Belly any single day.
Deli Belly. Oh.
Yeah, when you go to yeah, the other end, but and I have witnesses to that as well. Zara, I'll tell you, when you next see Zara, ask her about the taxi incident in London with Mike being sick.
Oh, she was there. I didn't realise you went back that far.
Oh, she was behind me.
She was getting sick on. Yeah.
She was sat behind me.
Yeah, she had a window open behind me.
There was this moment where I basically just like a huge volume out of this taxi cab door, and she just goes, "Well done, that was a good one." She's such a mum.
It's like being a PT. Just one more, please, Mike. One more. One more.
Like,
there's 2 more still inside you, Mike. Go on, give it a go.
Oh, honestly, never experienced anything like it in my life. It was just so surreal.
Zoe is really nice.
Yeah,
isn't she? She's a proper mum, isn't she? I can she has mum vibes.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah, you ask her next time you see her. Just say Mike Taxi Five Guys, and she'll know exactly what you're on about.
That's how I Google stuff. I don't even include like any joining words. It's just
yeah.
Porn now. I'm joking. That's not what I Google, but yeah, it's just. That's how I love search engines because you can just be so lazy with it. Even with the Echo, when I'm talking to the Echo, I'll just say, "Music, light off." Thanks. I got to start saying please and thank you now, though, because of Ted listening. So now we have to be really nice to the Echo. I'm like, it's just a machine. They're going to take over at some point. Yeah. Let's not give it too much bloody.
My Alexa thing, she has learnt my name.
Oh, is she?
And I didn't tell her to do that. I've not programmed anything in via
How's your other half, though?
It's just got. No, she wouldn't have bothered. She really wouldn't have bothered.
Don't forget, it's linked to your Amazon account, right? So it might just know.
How does it know?
Because your Amazon account will be under your name.
Yeah, but why has it suddenly started doing that? Who's programmed that? Because it creeped me out. Because I went in there, it was flashing yellow because there was a parcel delivered or whatever. So it was like plain notification, and it said, "Hi, Michael." I'm like, don't do that.
Well, you didn't even say their name.
Can I get it to stop?
You didn't even say the name of it. I would say the name, but it's going to turn on all
I think
of
I
them.
probably said, "Alexa, play notification," and then it said, "Good afternoon, Michael." I'm like, no, stop that.
Was it sexy? Did it turn you on?
No, it's creepy.
Good afternoon,
I feel like I'm being watched.
Michael. Please call me Mike.
Like ambient listening on phones, like 100% a thing.
Oh, it is, but I don't really care. If it makes my life easier, it really does. The amount of social media stuff that I've now purchased is helpful. Like there was a thing that came up the other day. I'm like, actually, I need that. Thank you. To be fair, it was Black Friday.
Did you genuinely need it?
Yeah, it was something for Fuzzy Logic.
Get loads of these adverts where you get people come up and look like, here's what you do, like stage by stage, these little slides on Instagram, like you do this, and then you're with like 400 clients like overnight. Like realistically, it just doesn't work. And it's the same thing. You get social media. Have you noticed the amount of people on you've probably seen videos on like TikTok or Instagram, whatever else, they're suddenly billionaires.
The thing
They're
is,
not
what
on
people need to
they're not on
realize
any kind of rich list.
is if these businesses were giving you legitimate, life changing advice, they'd be selling it to you rather than giving it to you for free. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think too many gullible people out there that are taking on advice through these platforms where, like, legitimately, like, there's quite a lot out there, but you got to use your common sense and filter out the bullshit, basically.
Yeah, huge amounts out there.
Yeah, it is. It's quite worrying, really. Like, to be fair, there's quite a lot that I follow that do give free advice. It's like podcasts. Like, I know this isn't one. I would not take advice from this podcast, but I probably spend 2 hours to 3 hours a day listening to podcasts that are very knowledgeable. Like, as I said, Diary of a CEO, for instance. Like, most of them are like an hour and a half long, and he gets an expert on each episode. And obviously, he is getting paid through adverts, so it is free advice for us. But he is earning money. It's not like he's, do you know what I mean? Like, he's making money from us. He's making money from the adverts. So it's a really good opportunity.
I mean, there are levels to that as well. I would say that because have you ever heard of Andrew Huberman?
No.
So he's essentially he's a specialist in like neurology, essentially, like how the brain works and all these different things. But he makes a lot of videos and a lot of suggestions on TikToks and podcasts and all this kind of stuff about how you can maximize your brain's efficiency and all this kind of stuff. So he's a big proponent of like ice baths and like managing cortisol levels first thing in the morning. And there is a lot of credit to what he says based on the bits that I know. However, then listening to other experts talk about some of the bits that I'm not so sharp on, they then really slate him.
Oh, really?
And it's interesting because I think he's got a vested interest in selling a certain angle because of certain companies he's involved with. I don't know for definite. I'm now relying on other people's views as well because I don't know, and maybe they're an angle because they're trying to get more views and stuff like this. So it's a bit of a minefield, to be honest
It
with you.
is, yeah.
Like I think you have to
Like, I always take on
know a base level of what you want to know.
Yeah, I think mindfulness and like mindset, it's all extremely variable because everyone has different experiences, everyone has different motivations in life. You can't, like, you're not motivated by the same things I'm motivated by. So if I try and like teach you how to be motivated using my experiences, like specifically, then it's just not going to work. So you have to be very, very generic with it all. But when it comes down to the science of it, like this brain scientist came on, I'm not sure which episode it was, but like he scans brains and sees like neurons and like all that lot, and then tells you like the guy, I don't know what his name is. I'm really bad with names, as you know, but the guy who hosts the show, he didn't even know he had ADHD until this brain guy came on and diagnosed him with ADHD. And then he realized that like he must have got it off from his mom and all blah, blah, blah. And it was a really amazing sort of episode to listen to. If you guys have time, I would fully recommend just that episode and then going forward, listen to him because he is really good. I would say he's probably the most useful podcast out there in regards to not just being a CEO, but just life stuff in general. Like he had a whole episode, an hour and a half episode talking about coffee with a coffee expert. Like just that random stuff. Yeah. Like you don't drink coffee, do you? But I don't know. We're using a podcast to advertise another podcast. Probably not the best thing for us, but yeah.
Hey, podcast sponsor us. I mean, I have a similar thing. Like you, so that's clearly like that's a podcast that's had quite an influence on you because you listen to it now regularly. One that I've mentioned before was Jocko Willink. I've started listening to. You have to kind of take some things he says with a pinch of salt. Jordan Peterson. Don't. You've got. I like his psychology side of stuff. There's some other of his views which I'm not necessarily agreeing on, but that side well worth listening to, especially for.
The thing is, these big podcasters now they upload like quite a lot, don't they? Because they're now making a career out of it. So when you try and like yourself, and what you're doing now is you're advising podcasts, you're recommending podcasts. It's like I don't know if I'm ever going to listen to them because I'm already listening to like 4 or 5 a week. It's just probably taking up at least 12 hours of my week listening to podcasts.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you're right. It's like I wanna find time. That's the thing. But it's like TV now, isn't it? There's so much on TV. It's like somebody recommends you a show. It's like, hang on a minute, I'm already fucking 3 weeks behind on Netflix. Like, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bode well for us considering we're trying to crack quite a saturated market. But here we are. But the thing is, like, it's you get people in different situations. So my friend Chris, for example, um, so he smashed through all of our podcasts in like a day, like 2 days or something silly. When I was driving up and down the country quite a lot, I had an entire back catalogue of Jocko Willink's podcast to listen to. Um, that completely changed the way I think, genuinely, from sitting in a van driving up and down the country.
It's amazing.
Entirely changed the way I view things and how I go about life now, essentially, from just listening to some guy talk.
It is amazing what can spark you, and what can change your mindset. I really like. I love that. Absolutely love that. I listen to the Mindset Mentor at least I would say every day, every Monday to Friday. I listen to an episode. He uploads 4 days a week, and
wow,
but it's only 15 minutes. 15 minutes. That's all it is. It's like little bite-sized chunks of, almost like motivation, but it's not. It's just kind of like knowledge sharing, and it's free. Why not?
Yep.
And it does change your mindset on things.
It does not hurt you in any way.
No, and I have to admit, I've been listening to his podcast for 5 years now, and I don't think I've gone through a mental rough patch since. Like it could have something to do with my ADHD or whatever. I don't know, but I can't remember the last time. You know where people say I've had a bad day. Like I can't remember the last time I've had a bad day, like mentally. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Unless there's reasons behind it. Like that's what annoys me when I go, I just don't feel great today.
No, I get that completely. And this is something I literally said earlier this evening, based on a day, what happened to me, like what happened yesterday, essentially, which is aggravating to say the least. So I don't mind being stressed. Like that, when you can get into that mindset of like, if I'm being stressed for a good reason, I'm okay with it. I can tolerate it. And like I said before, you're not made of glass. Like you can deal with X amount of stress. That's cool. It's fine. What irritates me is when I'm stressed and I'm backpedaling, like I'm reversing a situation, which is it bugs the hell out of me because like now there's no purpose for me being stressed. Like the work I've been putting in up to now, being stressed about, now I'm going backwards, and that bugs the hell out of me.
Can you share an example?
Winds me up. I can share a very specific example.
What actually happened?
So, yeah, well, I mean, this is a conversation we were having yesterday. So, obviously, I'm in the realms of looking for a commercial property at the moment, right? And essentially, it came to like that. The property which we have been told that we could go ahead and put planning permission on to change the use to then eventually take over. There is another company which already has approval and has already got a planning application put in. So now we're thinking, well, hang on a second, why is this the case? So we queried this with the landlord, and he says, oh, well, it's on a first come, first served basis. No, that's insane. How can we possibly plan a business around taking on a unit on a first come, first served basis? Because realistically, we've done a pre-planning application up to this point, which has had quite a positive review compared to this other company where you can go online, you can see the negative reviews and like comments and like feedback they've had on their entire planning application. But it could still be approved. We can't go to planning application stage without guarantees that their planning application is null and void. But essentially, it's come down to the fact I've just sent an email through earlier this evening, basically just saying we're not playing games, not getting backed into corner over it. It's just not happening. Basically, it's very, very irritating. It's just put us back like
but again, that's kind of out of your control,
so, I would say,
now, isn't it?
It is to an extent. Luckily, we have other avenues we can have a look down, and this is kind of.
But do you have a mindset?
To get away from this
sorry to interrupt you, but do you have a mindset where everything happens for a reason? Do you believe in that sort of like karma? Is almost
no, I don't.
You don't believe in that? No, okay, that's fair enough.
No, that was just a pain in my arse, basically. No other way of putting it.
It's a coping mechanism anyway, isn't it? Believing in that, but I truly do believe in everything happens for a reason because my life wouldn't be my life now if things hadn't happened. So I just kind of I fully have faith in that. Like as long as you put your 100% into stuff, obviously you can't just expect to win the lottery and not buy a ticket.
I think my view on that would be when you say everything happens for a reason, it's almost like it's out of your control to an extent. I don't like
No,
that.
no, no, no,
Like
that, no, 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 that, no, no, no.
I will control as many aspects around it as
Yeah,
I possibly can,
yeah,
essentially.
that's what I'm saying though.
So to give you an example,
If you've lost it,
so this is where,
what I'm saying is, if you've lost it, even though you've put all you
yep,
can into it, but if you've lost it,
yep,
then it gives you an opportunity to potentially get a better one and a newer one or a cleaner one or something. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
100%.
yeah,
And this is kind of where I was going with it. So this is why it's okay to be stressed up to a point as long as you're progressing. So all the while that we were working on this commercial property, it's the age old don't put your eggs in one basket. We've got I'm trying to organise a meeting for next week about a separate property as well. So in the background, while we were securing this one, in theory, I've got another one near enough ready to go. So it's put us back potentially a week, potentially 2 weeks, depending on how this meeting goes. No pressure on that one, but it's a similar kind of thing to have a job, start a side hustle, to get a second income, get a third income, like make your money work, invest it, buy property, whatever it is, so you're not reliant on a job basically. So for people listening who have like a definite boss, if you like, I know it's slightly different for you, Fuzz, where you're kind of you have a boss, but they're not really, I
yeah,
suppose. Um, but if you have a boss and they tell you to do something which morally you're not okay with, or you can't get on board with in any way, you need to be in a position to go, no, actually, you know what? I don't need this job. I'm financially secure enough to be able to go, screw you, I'm out. Like, and it's the same thing with like you need to juggle
yeah.
a
But
lot of
people
different things as possible
need
until they
that.
start to pay off.
People need that spark, don't they, to motivate them to do that. I think, like a bit like me in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I only started this year because I felt like I'd been there long enough and I wanted to regain control. And it was one of those things. Like people, people are quite happy though. Like in a salaried position, the security is really good for your anxiety levels
Mm-hmm.
and for your future, for your pension. So it's just swings and roundabouts, and I think it just depends on what motivates you.
Mm-hmm.
And people go through different levels of passion through their life. And right now, whether it's a bloody midlife crisis or not, I just want to be able to be solely responsible for my income, just for my own
Yep.
mental health. I guess I don't know, but just to be proud of myself of everything that I've learned over the last 15 years. I can put into something that is my
Mm-hmm.
own, which is.
100%.
But then people don't have that. A lot of people don't have that sort of thing. Like I was talking to my best mate the other day, and he
No.
doesn't. He doesn't have that same sort of mindset, which is fair enough. Like people are
Yep.
so different. I just don't like when
It's
people try
funny you
and
mention.
force you to be like them. There's something that's
Yeah.
try and stay
Yeah.
away from.
The thing I will push for, even if you're in a salaried position and you are fully employed and you intend on staying there, that there's nothing wrong with that by any means. Just try and give yourself some level of security so that if that job suddenly disappears, you have something to fall back on. That doesn't have to be a secondary income, but at least save some kind of emergency fund so you can walk away from that job. Or if you lose that job, like you have some security blanket, because that
So
would be
I'm
one of
really
the most
bad with
stressful
that.
things in
As
the
soon as
world.
I've
If
got
like,
money, I buy a new camera. That's my issue. And I'm not even joking.
oh no. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that's just solid advice for literally anyone in the world. Like if you can like have 3 to 6 months of your expenses just stashed away, that's not for you to tap into to
Yeah,
when you want to buy a new thing. Like just needs to sit there because then you've got freedom. Like expendable
completely
can
agree.
become
It's really hard in
invested.
some
You can
situations. Like
do what you want with it.
people that want
Hmm.
minimum wage and trying to build up try and get a mortgage and stuff. It is tough. It is really tough, especially nowadays with the crisis that we're in at the minute. But yeah, I do
Mm.
agree with you. Like if you're in that position, do it. Like that's what I say to my wife the other day. Is like I keep watching Deal or No Deal. God, this podcast has dragged down. Sorry, we need to end this soon. Fuck. But I keep watching Deal or No Deal
People enjoy it. It'd be fine.
since it's been out again. And I'm like, what would I do if I won that amount of money, like 10 grand? And I'm thinking I would just probably
Hmm.
keep it in the bank just for my own peace of mind. I think.
Yep. 100%.
But then you wouldn't, because as soon as you got that
So
money, you're like, I'm just going to invest it in my business or whatever, and it just gets swallowed up.
I think it depends on what. I suppose it depends what position you are in life.
Mm.
So in terms of like, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but in terms of like that layering effect, it's your security fund, so 3 to 6 months of your expenses. So you are covered. So worst case scenario, you lose your job today, you've got 6 months as a minimum to find a new job. For most people, that will generally be achievable. Um, After that, then you want to clear down any excess debt, essentially. So then, if you have 1 month where you have a bad month in terms of what you take home, then you've still got your security fund there, but you can afford to take that expendable income and get rid of your debt.
Yeah, you want to get rid of your debt,
Generally
especially if
speaking, at
it's
highest interest down
charging
to lowest
interest.
interest.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
I don't think I've
Highest
ever
interest
paid
to lowest
interest
interest, so
though,
you're freeing up more income.
because you want to. There's so many opportunities out there to avoid
No, I mean
interest with
it's not
cards.
good.
Cards, like, they always offer you like
Yeah,
24 months or whatever of like interest free, and then you just move on to the next card, don't you? That's what most people do, I
yeah.
think. I don't
I mean,
know.
the thing I've never used a credit card,
Yeah, but you're just a
and
perfect
arguably
little
some.
prick, aren't you?
I'm really no. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I've done things on like finance before and stuff like this. Nowadays, I'd say the only thing I think is reasonable to be financed is probably a car.
Oh yeah, car, a house. It's those big purchases. And imagine if we were living in America. I was having this conversation the other day about how different life is outside of this country when it comes to the amount of tax that we pay for
Hmm.
like benefits, for instance, but also the NHS,
Hmm.
etc. Like, but
Crazy, isn't it?
but but then at the same time, it's like if you went to America, you'd have to finance just having a baby, basically.
Oh yeah, have you seen like the bills
Yeah, but
like
you're
with somebody
talking
that's
20
broken a leg
grand
or something?
for a baby. You're
It's
talking 20
insane.
grand. Yeah, it's mental, isn't it? Like, I would just walk around with a broken leg for the rest of my life.
Mm. But it's the amount that they're charging for certain things. Like I saw one thing for like a broken leg, they were charging like $1,000 for these painkillers.
Yeah,
Like those tablets probably cost $5.
but do they? I don't.
Like
I guess they
the
do.
medical like it's insane. Like and it's probably even less. That's if you were to buy them yourself. Like in terms of manufacture, next to nothing.
It's just mental, isn't it? Anyway,
Crazy system.
this has gone on for an hour and a half. I think somebody commented recently. To be fair, I think they said, I like how the episodes are getting longer and longer. This is definitely a record. God, it's
Yeah, this is the
been an hour and a
longest.
half. Well, depending on whether,
Yeah.
because I'm going to edit this down, very likely.
Yeah, there's probably some nonsense in there, but yeah, I don't know. I think we just get into a bit of a flow, don't we?
We do. It's the only time we really talk. We don't even talk during our PT sessions now. It's very Nazi-like, isn't
Well,
it?
we've got yeah, well we've got to save it. Don't mention that. We can save that.
Yeah.
Bring it up in the
Yeah,
podcast.
don't talk to me, Mike. Just count my reps. That's what I pay you for.
Yeah. Wow.
Right.
Right, let's call that
Let's
there then.
call it a day. Next week, we've got Georgie, as I said, on for an interview, which is awesome. It's going to be our first weekly sort of podcast. I'm not sure. Did you want to do it on it the following week, just before Christmas, and then have a couple of weeks off?
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, it'd be good.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Just to influence people to spend time with their family. Not really. It's just us being lazy.
Yeah. We're gonna go guest on, guest off, I think.
Yeah.
That's the pattern we're forming
Guest
here. I
on
think.
and guest off.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
And then next month,
And
next year, shall we
in
go weekly
theory-
next year?
We'll go weekly next year, and I think I've got our next guest lined up for after Georgie as well. So that'll be an interesting one.
Nice. So yeah, that's quite an exciting announcement to make. Weekly next year, and next year is literally a few weeks away.
It actually is as well. Yeah. Okay.
It's quite a commitment.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get a more interesting life for more things to talk about. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I need to get out of the house more. I think I'll allow my wife for that. Right. Yes.
Socialise me.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. As always, please subscribe. Please like. Please comment. We've received a few comments on Spotify. It's nice hearing from you. Nice to get some feedback, but also it allows our podcast to be shared more within the platform. The more that you follow and like and all that. So really appreciate it. If you watch us on YouTube as well, subscribe, like, and we will see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Bye bye.